Aloha and welcome to the KupunaWiki radio show. This month we are still talking on senior housing and adult daycare. And in studio we have Dr. Diane Paloma, Chief Executive Officer of Lunalilo Home. And KupunaWiki is Hawaii's senior resource. We talk to the best local professionals in the state regarding topics such as real estate, senior housing, estate planning, finance, and health. So our Kupuna families can find the best resources in the midst of a life transition. We strive to make sure our seniors are informed and supported every step of the way. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Brandon Lau.
And I'm Andrew Leon,
your host for the KupunaWiki radio show.
Our title sponsor for today is Cheney Brooks Choice Advisors, providing you with the best real estate information so you can make the most informed decisions. As they like to say, real estate is about choice. To contact them, call 753-9033.
And now we have a real estate tip of the week brought to you by Cheney Brooks Choice Advisors.
Your golden years are supposed to be carefree and enjoyable. Examine your situation and only undertake the cost and risk that will allow you to sleep well at night. This may mean reassessing your housing situation. Downsizing from a single family to a smaller house or condo may make sense now, not only to reduce the cost of home maintenance, but also the demands of your time for keeping up with weekly yard work, repairs, improvements, and cleaning.
For more information on how to simplify your lifestyle as an empty nester, please contact Cheney Brooks Choice Advisors at 753-9033. Well, again, in studio we have Dr. Diane Paloma, Chief Executive Officer of Lunalilo Home. Welcome, Diane.
Aloha, thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. Well, tell us a little bit about how you got involved with Lunalilo Home and why you love what you do.
Okay, so I'm a Kama'aina, grew up in Ainahaina, Wailupe Valley, and I always knew that I wanted to remain in healthcare, wanting to help people. So I spent a lot of time in my career looking at other medical professions. I started off as a medical assistant back in the day when medical assistants could do everything like give shots, give medicine, do patient histories.
Right.
And then I moved over to the School of Medicine, helped build the Native Hawaiian Health Program there, and then moved to Queens Hospital to be able to do that. Also working partially a little bit at HMSA, so having some background in healthcare claims information, healthy living. I was teaching retirees about nutrition, stress management, and physical activity. And I remember thinking one day when I was standing up in front of the classroom, like, these guys should be teaching me about all this stuff. They're retired, they're happy.
They've been through it all.
Yeah, and like they're listening to this 20-something-year-old talk about health and healthcare. And really all of those experiences have led me to Lunalilo Home, which is an adult residential care home. It's also an adult daycare, and we also do hot meal delivery, medically altered meals. And so I've been able to combine this medical and healthcare passion with a love for Native Hawaiian culture. So I'm also a hula practitioner. All of my children went to Punana, which is an Hawaiian immersion language preschool. And I was able to combine those in my past two jobs. And what got me to Lunalilo Home was, this challenge of taking on a leadership position for a Li'i Trust.
So Lunalilo Home has quite a legacy within the community. Share a little bit of the vision for the residents.
Sure.
Yeah.
Lunalilo Home started based upon the will of King William Charles Lunalilo. He was our sixth monarch of the Hawaiian Kingdom. He was the first elected king, so that's what he's most notably known for. Now, there's a Lunalilo School.
Right.
Did you know that H1 is actually Lunalilo Freeway?
Right.
There's Lunalilo Exit, there's some towers. He had the largest land holdings of all of our monarchs. And upon his death, they created, he distinctly named creating a Kupuna care home as a part of his legacy.
That's great.
Once they built that, all of the lands were sold to help support that. And the original Lunalilo Home was actually just in Makiki, very close to Roosevelt High School.
Okay.
And in 1927, the home moved out to Mauna Lua. So back in the day, you think there was no Kalaniana Ole Highway, there was no Costco Hawaii Kai. It was fish pond, ag lots, farming community. and they moved out there to the old Marconi wireless communication dormitory. So that Cocoa Head Trail that you see up going up Cocoa Crater, that is the communication station, and the employees would have to take that cable car up to the top, but they dormed where Lunalilo Home is now, and so we're in a 100-year-old plus building.
It's historic.
So I'm sure you could tell me a lot about that real estate. A 100-year-old building, and we still continue that mission of caring for, attending to Kupuna with dignity and aloha.
Right. So with that, I mean, you have such a rich heritage. How would you say that kind of helps you differ from some of the more modern facilities out there?
Oh yeah. So of course, I always talk about the classic charm of the building, being that it is about 100
It's a
years
historic
old.
residence,
yes,
right?
it is. It was major. It had its first major renovation in 1997, and then we reopened to have like the fire sprinklers, the handicap access.
Right.
So we are compatible with that, and follow our Department of Health inspections very well. But the legacy, I think, is so unique in that we infuse all of our Native Hawaiian values and cultures. We have Hawaiian food on the menu regularly, and we just started a community, kind of our community kipuka, which is, kipuka is the Hawaiian word for oasis, or a clearing in the middle of the forest, right? Kind of like this unique little magical spot. And that's what we like to think of our garden, which we grow kalo, sweet potato, fresh vegetables that we actually use in some of our foods in feeding the kupuna, so that they get, the whole, they want whole foods too, just like us. And we also want to be able to feed and nurture their souls, rather than, yes, we take care of their medications, yes, we take care of their daily basic needs, but how do we really feed their spirit? And that is through the way we give care to our kupuna, what we feed them. And we also, we have Kani Kapila every Friday. We have a lot of volunteers that come in to sing. Sometimes the kupuna are dancing hula themselves.
And you're dancing yourself, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
so they make me dance. And that was one of my first weeks on the job. I think that was partially my job interview.
Right.
You don't say no to kupuna.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, I like the aspect of being able to take part in, farming the land. Do kupuna actually get involved?
Yeah, they
in
do.
The
They
gardens?
love it. They actually, and so because we have standing raised beds, they don't have to get down on the ground. In fact, it's even hard for me to get down on the ground and weed sometimes. But they can stand and weed, and they by talking to the plants, they know that this food is being grown for them, and it just adds such a different level and element to the work that we do.
Right. Now, aside from, being able to feed their souls, you did mention that you upgraded the facility in '97, so you have all the new modern aspects to it. What are some things that they can expect in the home? Like if you're going to take them through a walkthrough.
Okay, well, of course, we have the classic, it's an old gate, but there is a certain charm when you pull up to it. And so because that building, it's the original iron tile roof, iron and ceramic tile roof, that red roof that you can kind of see from the top of Cocoa Head or maybe coming down Tsunami Bay Drive. There's a certain level of charm that's not a square block. It doesn't look like an apartment building. It looks like a real home. And when you walk in the doors, we have the original hardwood floors too, so it's not I would say it's not institutional looking. It doesn't look like a hospital floor. We have the capabilities to care for people like a hospital in certain rooms, but it's really kind of like going to grandma's house, going back in time a little bit, and there's just a classic Hawaiian charm about it that I think lends to this very calm and serene and peaceful aspect to the site.
And I've seen the outside of it, and it seems like you make a good use of the trade winds and the natural breezeways. Yeah.
I will say that we don't have air conditioned private rooms. The only two rooms that are air conditioned are the dining room and the ohana room, which is where they spend most of their activities.
Right.
But there is a breeze that comes right around that
really
cocoa
nice.
crater,
Yeah.
and we're located right next to Kaiser High School.
Mhm.
So really, there's not a lot of high buildings or houses to block that breeze
The
that
breeze that
comes
comes
right through. Yeah.
Well, Dr. Paloma, I do want to talk a little bit more about your services. I know there's a lot that you offer here at Kupuna, and so we'll talk more after that, right after this commercial break.
Great.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we have Dr. Diane Paloma, Chief Executive Officer for the King Lunalilo Trust and Home. In the first segment, great history on the home, and I just love the fact that there's a garden. You know, I like to be outdoors as well, and so yeah, having that I think just makes it a lot more inviting. You know, getting hands on with doing the activities, but I wanted to talk about some activities and services that you folks offer. If you can share with our listeners, what are some of the services you folks offer?
Sure. So our main, I'd say, line of business is our adult residential care home. So it's a 24/7 operation. We have 42 beds available in total. We're licensed for 42 beds. We also have adult daycare, which is from Monday through Saturday. You can drop off your tutu as early as 6:30 and as late as 5:30 pickup. So I think that's better than some schools in Hawaii.
Yeah.
We also have respite care for kupuna that need care but maybe cannot travel. So during the summer months, we do have a lot of respite care clients who come and stay with us sometimes for an extended weekend when families have traveled to the mainland. And then we also have what I think is probably our biggest growing program is our Meals to Go, which is medically altered meals. We also do pureed, mince, wet. We can accommodate low salt, low sodium. We can accommodate low fat or diabetic diets. And we will deliver that to your house Monday through Friday. So it's a hot meal that non-frozen that you get every day. And we also partner with Hawaii Meals on Wheels. So we provide the meals for some of their clients, and they provide the delivery. And we also have some private clients of our own who don't necessarily qualify for Hawaii Meals on Wheels delivery, but still, nevertheless, their families feel it's important for them to remember to get a hot meal every day at lunch.
Wow, that's great. I think you guys not just provide care for your residents, but people outside as well. I think that's a great feature that you folks offer.
That's been, I'd say, one of our biggest challenges is we're limited by the 42 beds and the 44 adult daycare client spots that we have. So how can we get Lunalilo Home in more homes?
Right, right. Now, speaking of your beds, are they? What's the privacy like? I mean, are they shared rooms?
Yeah, so it's a variety. Okay. So like I said, right, this is the old Marconi dormitory. So some rooms are private, some rooms are semi-private, some have their own bathroom, some have a dormitory shared shower and bathroom facility. Most of the rooms are on the second floor, and we realize that makes it difficult for people who are in walkers, right? So they're mostly on the first floor. Shared rooms are usually no more than 3 per room. And they're good sized rooms. I mean, this is a building that was built 100 years ago. When I look at the square footage of a room, I'm gonna guess our average rooms maybe about 30 by maybe 20 feet. So it's a good size room.
It's like a living room.
Yeah. Almost, yeah. And so they each have their own standardized beds. The first floor beds are hospital grade beds. And we did do a second major renovation in 2016 with a grant from the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, where we had standardized fixtures and room accessories and bed. Before that, I think it was just like one side of the wing was one design, another floor was another design. So now it's all standard and it looks very nice.
Yeah, yeah. Any plans for expansion?
Well, luckily you asked that. So we are looking at how do we service the West Side population. We get calls every week for our meal delivery service saying, hey, do you come out to Kapolei, or can you guys deliver delivered to Eva Beach.
Mhm.
And right now, I think with westbound traffic, that's the main challenge.
Mhm.
But we are looking into, we have some consultants. We're working with the University of Hawaii Masters in Business Administration program to look at what are the possibilities of expanding westward. We also realize that many Hawaiians are on the west side.
Right.
Kapolei has a number of Hawaiian homes,
Right.
Nanakuli, Waianae, Makaha,
Mhm.
and that while there are a lot of young families that move out there because that's what's considered affordable, right, for a single family unit, they are bringing their parents with them, or the parents are helping them in that house purchase.
Mhm.
So as they age, where do those kupuna go? Especially when the kupuna are probably taking care of their kids as they drive into town 2 hours and then take
Right.
another 2 hours to drive back out west. So we are looking at opportunities, maybe enter with meal delivery first and then look at spaces that we could possibly set up. I'd like to have really a Lunalilo Home on every island if
Mhm.
possible.
Right.
Or my big wish, right, is a Lunalilo Home in every community.
Mhm.
We do find kupuna don't necessarily want to move outside of the place that they grew up in, like myself included. Like I would want to stay in my valley if
Mhm.
possible.
Mhm.
So how do we make that happen for them when there's limited bed spaces and limited kupuna care homes in the places where people currently live?
Mhm. Now, currently at your location in Hawaii Kai, you guys are at capacity at this time,
Mhm.
and there's a wait list.
So there is a wait list only for our subsidized residents, and back in 2001, we did have to go to the probate court because we're a product of the will and estate of King Lunalilo to expand our care to non-Hawaiians.
Mhm.
So previously, many people remember and recall Lunalilo Home being only for Hawaiians. We modified that, and we put in a stipulation so that we still follow their estate that kupuna who are Hawaiian are eligible for subsidized care. So we have an investment account, and the trust pretty much subsidizes care for certain kupuna.
Mhm.
But we do take non-Hawaiians, and we do take Hawaiians with enough funding to be able to pay for that monthly fee. I think that's one of the biggest misnomers
Mhm.
that people think you have to be Hawaiian.
Mhm.
So for the subsidized care, there is a wait list. We're maybe about 7 on the wait list right
Okay.
now.
Okay.
For a first floor bed, there usually is a wait list of about 2 or 3,
Mhm.
and it depends on the fit and what kind of bed that they really need. But our second floor rooms, we usually at least always have 1 or 2 beds open,
Mhm.
and that's what we usually use for respite care, right? If there's temporary
Right.
housing that we can provide.
I see. So when you mentioned subsidies, right? So is it do you folks accept like Medicaid, Medicare, or is it mostly private pay?
So, no, yeah, we are private pay. We are non-Medicare or Medicaid facility.
Mhm.
So we don't take those payments directly, but we do have many families utilizing those benefits. The family manages those benefits, and then they will pay for the care.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's
And
how
we
it-
and then we have a social worker who's our director of admissions, who really helps with those types of choices and those types of abilities, because we realize just how expensive and how hard it is to pay for kupuna care, possibly even when you're raising a family, trying to pay your own mortgage, trying to live and survive in Hawaii, right?
Right. And I want to talk about costs. You mentioned there's first floor and then the second floor. Is there a difference in price?
Yeah, so definitely the first floor bed. The first floor covers our expanded care beds,
Okay.
which is the hospital grade beds. We can take up to 8. 8 beds are allocated for expanded care, which is ICF, SNF. So for those of you not familiar with the lingo, intermediate care facility and skilled nursing facility are higher level of beds. Meaning you're going to need a little bit more nursing care. You might need oxygen. You might need different types of meds that require you to be closer to the nurse's station.
Okay.
Those are a little bit more expensive than the second floor. Second floor, you have to be ambulatory, which means you have to be able to walk We do have an elevator, so technically, anybody can go up to the second floor. But because of the Department of Health regulations, if there's a fire, the elevator shuts down. They have to be able to walk down the stairs in case of fire. So that's why we just check and make sure that they are able to actually do that down the stairs. They all take the elevator.
Yeah. So just for our listeners, what's your price range kind of like?
So our starting base price is around $5,700 a month.
Okay.
And depending on the type of room that you have and the level of care that you need, those costs would be added on. So, I share this story a lot when I go out in the community. That $5,700 a month equals to about $70,000 to $75,000 a year. So if you think about it, that's like 1 year of a private school college tuition on the mainland, right? With all of the flights and the room and board and that kind of stuff. And so people, I think, when they hear that price, they can put it into better frame of mind and go, whoa, that's like, I haven't saved 18 years for my mom or dad to have that cost, right? So that's the challenge of care homes in Hawaii. How to pay for it is probably one of the biggest hurdles and burdens to figure out where are we going to put mom or dad.
Yes. So in the case of Lunalilo, what's the demographic? Are they all locally from that part of the island, or?
So we have kupuna from all over. I'd say a majority of them, about 60% is Native Hawaiian, and but I'd say all of our clients are local, right? And that's part of the attraction of Lunalilo Home is we do local stuff where we have local employees. We do a lot of kanikapila. We do a lot of children's groups coming in. I mean, every week we have, I'd say, at least 5 volunteer groups coming in. They're either helping in the garden, performing for our kupuna, doing bingo. I'm telling you, these kupuna love bingo. They do not mess with their
it's
bingo.
It's not just a stereotype.
Yeah. No.
It's a real deal.
They are. But I have figured out, so we give prizes, right? And sometimes, not always, sometimes those prizes are little candies, right? Like the little mini stickers, especially around Halloween. So I was like, got it. Now I know why they love bingo. Because you know that there's
the
this
treats.
prize at the end, right? Yeah.
Well, it sounds like Lunalilo has, a great vision for the future. Overall, I'm just curious because you have had such a history, in the medical field and now senior care. What do you think? How can we help solve this idea that there's going to be a silver tsunami and a lot more kupuna to care for, and maybe affordability is an issue or just availability of beds? What do you think are some things that people can start to think about?
Well, I'm saying this a little bit jokingly, but I always say people should start thinking about building an accessory dwelling unit on their own property and having mom or dad move in. I know that's not realistic for everybody, but I think as we start to learn more about this silver tsunami that is here, it's not coming, it's like knocking down our door, it's about to bowl us over. How do we provide more education to people in like our age and preparing for not just our parents that we're going to be caring for, but ourselves, and what kind of, Hawaiians kind of think of it as like, what kind of burden am I going to be when I'm a kupuna? I want to be the grandma that picks up on my grandkids and spoils them rotten and that kind of stuff, versus being, a strain on the family, which financially I think we're seeing in the community. So I think as people better learn about it, they'll be able to better prepare, because I do feel that when people think of kupuna caregiving, it's always at the last minute.
Right.
Because somebody has fallen and broken their hip. They go to rehab, and then they get a call 2 weeks in. Okay, your family's going to get discharged tomorrow, and where do they go? Do I need to quit my job to care for them? And so, talking about it and having those options before you get to that point is so helpful. And in my own life, my father fell. My mom was about to go on this 2-week trip, an international trip, and I jokingly said, "Okay, Mom, you're gonna cancel your trip, right?" She's like, "Well, absolutely not. You got you and your sister to take care of this." And I was like, Okay.
See, she did have
I guess
a plan.
We got,
That was
that
you.
was yeah. The plan was hand it off to somebody else, right? Yeah.
Well, Dr. Dan Paloma, it's been great talking with you, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and caring for Kupuna at Lunalilo Home. If somebody wanted to reach out to your community, how could they do that?
Sure, they can give us a call. We're at 395-1000. Really easy phone number to remember.
Mhm.
And we also, on our website, we have a lot of links and resources